Hello everyone, and welcome to another car profile, and as you can see, it's the Mercedes SLS AMG GT3 car. Nearly got that one wrong. And yeah, we've got another car profile. So a BoP test. This is front engine rear wheel drive, non-turbocharged, so it's an NA car. Of course, it's the SLS, that's what it's known for. Of course, the real car, it's skyrocketed because of that. Because obviously most Mercedes cars now are turbo, bi-turbo, etc. So we're going to do the usual 4 tracks: Brands Hatch, Dragon Trail, Interlagos and Suzuka. Now, you're going to see a surprise with this car. I must admit, I was surprised by this car. It's actually a very, very good car in terms of its handling and what it does just generally. So without further ado, let's get on with the test. So here we are at Brands Hatch. Here we're going to test a bit of undulations. It's a very fast flowing circuit, so it's all about handling most of this circuit. And as you can see, we come out of the first bend absolutely no problem. So coming into Druids, the only issue we had was occasionally second, third gear issue that we see in most of the class, and we get a 0.0 there. Of course, we're after our optimum, not necessarily our fastest lap, but I'm just showing you the fastest lap because then you see how I'm driving it. So again, no issues at Graham Hill Bend, no issues here, although it did have a funky trick at that corner. So I always drop to second and then short shift to third, because coming out of Druids, the rear would come out a bit with second. Doing that in third gear settled the car a lot more, and yeah, I got through there, no problem. So as you can see, I do this corner in fourth gear. I actually think third is slightly faster. I did drop to third occasionally after this lap. I do 15 laps, a maximum of 15 laps. I normally do 15 at Brands now, just to make sure I've got the hang of the car. No real issues with the curbs, with weight transfer or anything like that here. It does understeer the faster you go in terms of corners, so it's like the top end downforce doesn't work very well. So obviously on an LMP car, the faster you go, the more downforce you get, essentially more grip you get, you can go around corners quicker. It doesn't have that necessary grip at the higher speed, so it does struggle with some of the high speed stuff. But even so, we come out at the end with a 122.269 optimum, and that's the lap time we're going to take. So it's right in the thick of it with that 0.2. Lots of cars around that area. As we head to Dragon Trail, this is a very, very, very fast circuit. As you can see by my lap times already, 36.7 on lap number 4. This is lap number 5. It's an unbelievably quick car, this, which is expected. It's the SLS. So, you know, we continue on through here. Curbs, absolutely no issue with curbs at all. In fact, it's probably the best handling car in terms of curbs in Group 3 I have ever seen. You can use them fully to your advantage if you want to. As you see, you get a bit of understeer there. High speed corners, it does struggle. So we're going to see that struggle in Sector 2. We are going to test stability as well at the end of Sector 2 on the right hander, but as you see at 32.5, one of the fastest first sectors we have seen. Again, because you can use the curbs. I don't use the curb fully there on the left. Obviously you can abuse these curbs massively. I didn't do that there on the right either, or the left, but you can see the understeer. Look at me go all the way over there. Now in some cars that bottoms out. In this though, absolutely no problem. Has no issues with curbs as we head down to this right hander. Here's where we test stability. Drop to second gear. We can instantly get on the power very, very quickly at this corner. And as you see, we're actually behind the Ghost at this point. But a 103.3 there is very good. You know we're on for a good lap at this point. And a 30.7, not too bad. We actually get that down to a 0.6 or a 0.5 later on in the session. We absolutely nail the chicane. Again, it's one of those cars with a very long front end, so it's not as wide. So you can really thread the needle at the bus stop chicane. Coming into here, last corner. As you can see, we're already a tenth up on our time. We're 2 tenths up on our time. We absolutely nail the last corner. And we do that a couple of times as well during the session. And look at this lap time that's coming in now. We know what's coming here. A 0.5. So that lap time alone is faster than the fastest optimum. But look at our optimum, a 136.259. I could not believe that. That is 3 tenths quicker than anything else that we have done. Insane. So I went to Interlagos thinking, this car's probably going to do pretty good here. And as you can already see by the optimum, we're on a 130.548. But again, this is going to be our fastest lap. Let's see if this improves. Continue out of that corner and head towards the end of the first sector. Obviously, this car's more power than handling, especially the high-speed handling stuff. But the nice thing about this car is it's good in slow corners. It handles perfectly. There's no understeer in slow corners. It only understeers in high-speed corners, and you'll see that in a second. Now I get set to 1 over 23.0. My fastest is a 0.8, the fastest I've ever done in the first sector. Going to here, you'll start to see the understeer a little bit. Have to wait for the car to come back to us. Little bit of oversteer, but again, very catchable, very easy car, very stable car. Into here we go. Again, we can accelerate very quickly. in lots of cars there, you accelerate out of that corner, you're going to get issues. Again, accelerating straight out of there, no issues at all. It is such a stable car. Into this right-hander we go. So I stay in second gear, don't really need to drop to first, get a bit of wheel spin but nothing too major. Coming into here, you want to take a wide line again because it's a high-speed corner. The car will start to understeer. You can see that there, using most of the curb as we come into this last corner now. Take it very nice and easy. This is how stable the car is. Look, full throttle, second to third gear out of that corner. Most cars cannot do that. Most cars will struggle massively with doing that. This car, no problem. It seems to be very stable at the rear and you can pile out of there, so it's fast. 130.4 at the moment, our optimum. Let's see what it goes to. So we get a 0.6 as well. So it stays at the 0.488 and you can see the sectors there. Some unbelievable time. I think the 22.8 is also the fastest last sector as well we've done. And again, obviously it's not the fastest middle because it struggles in some of the higher speed corners. The low speed corners, absolutely no problem. So Suzuka, a very balanced circuit this. We've got lots of speed here. Coming to this first corner, you can trail brake for days. And you can really trail brake nicely. You can brake really late as well. Really get through the corner. It's stable on exit. We can go on the grass there a little bit as we come into the S's. So obviously it's going to start to struggle in the S's because it starts to struggle with the higher speed corners, as I've already said. So we do struggle a little bit with handling. Obviously the quicker you go, the more it'll struggle in the corners. And that's the thing I found. So we get a 33.2. Our fastest is a 0.0, and obviously the fastest we've seen, I think, is a 0.9 or 0.8 in the 32s. So we expect it to be a 10th down because we're getting up to the higher speed corners. Sector here, Diagonal 1 and Diagonal 2, it does struggle a bit more here, again, because the faster corners, the Diagonal 1, it really struggle with. I run fairly wide there as well, get a 19.1, I think our fastest is just in the 19.1s, if not a 0.0, into the hairpin. Oh my word, it's brilliant here. Look, no understeer at all, it's very good in slow speed corners. We can accelerate out there, absolutely no problem. Gain a load of time on my previous fastest lap, which we got on lap 3, a 158.6. We know we're on for a good time here as we continue on up to Spoon. Again, because it's a high-speed corner, we're expecting understeer at Spoon, and we get that. You can see the car is wanting to push out wide very quickly, so we bring it back. The slower we go, the more it will start to turn in, the more effective the car is. Because third gear is very stable in this car, especially in the class in general, because second, third gear is usually where it's unstable. Accelerate out there, absolutely no problem. And now we're going to get the fastest middle sector seen in this class, in this BoP test, a 46.0. Absolutely nailed it through there. Notice how our apex speed 143, our fastest we've seen is 146, 147 I believe. So you can see the difference in high speed corners versus low speed corners here, where the chicane is getting around no problem as we head towards the line. And our optimum is going to be a 158.346. Absolutely unbelievable stuff. And I just can't believe it. So now let's have a look at the final results. So look at the results. Unbelievably, the SLS has gone to the top of the leaderboard. I can't believe it, to be honest. At Brands I thought, okay, yeah, it's about a mid-range car. But then when we got to Dragon Trail, and I suddenly started seeing where the advantages are in this car. It's a very powerful car. I did notice the Brands hatch, like start-finish line, it was always slightly ahead of most cars in terms of its speed. So you can see the power and weight there, 103 and 100. So it's fairly well balanced anyway before they've even done the BoP. And we can see that further down as well with a couple of other cars. So, you know, the Corvette C7, for example. But even so, we get a 122.2, a 136. I can't believe that Dragon Trail time. In fact, if you have a look at Dragon Trail itself, I mean, it's miles ahead. Look at this. It is absolutely miles ahead. And it's just insane. It can nail the chicane, it gets a good last sector, and that's where it gets a lot of its time. But it's good in the middle as well. It's a good car overall. Even though the middle, it struggles with the turning, it just flies out of the start of sector 2. So that gives it a bit of a boost. It flies out the second corner as well because you can instantly put the power down. It's unbelievable. Obviously Interlagos, you get the start and end of the circuit. So let's actually jump to Interlagos. And you can sort of see that here. I mean, look, if you look at the Porsche, this is the old Porsche before we've done the, obviously it's been BoP since, a 44.6 in the middle. This is the 44.7. It struggles when you get to some of the faster handling parts of the circuit. So you know that fast left going into the end of sector 2? Struggles there. Struggled at the start of sector 2 with the double right-hander, double apex there. So that's where it struggles. And then obviously you've got Suzuka, where it is off the Porsche, but even so, it's nearly 3 tenths up on the Porsche here. And that's before the the nerve of the Porsche. So effectively it's nearly 4 tenths faster than the Citroen GT. It's an unbelievable car. I can't even express how unbelievable it was to drive. I had to double check every time that I made sure I put the BoP on, everything was set up right, which it was, and I check this all the time. So in my full footage I make sure it's in the video so I can check it again and again and again if I really have to. In the comments, very stable car. There's hardly any problems with it. As I say, there's slight understeer the quicker you go, but that kind of expected, or if it didn't have that it'd be like nuts. Second, third gear, usual issues, but it's not as much as the other cars in the class. That's the interesting part of this. It's extremely fast on the straights, 157 mile an hour at the speed trap, and the only reason it doesn't hit 158 is literally because we've got to turn in fairly early and come off the speed quite quickly because of the apex speed, because of the high speed nature of 130R. That's the only reason. That is the only reason. It's very good in low speed corners. There's no understeer in low speed corners. It's all in the high speed stuff only in terms of understeer, which is really unusual because it's an FR car. The engine is plonked right at the front of this thing. It's a massive nose on it, so you expect more understeer than it actually has. No issues with curbs. We saw that at Dragon Trail. We went way over the curb in Sector 2 and absolutely no issues. In fact, the curbs are a positive in this car because you can abuse them for days and they will work for you. And to get the maximum speed out of the car, just rev it to the limit. Go full out in this thing. Now, I don't know what it's like on fuel and tyres, but to be that far ahead on some of these tracks, especially Dragon Trail, I'm mind blown with Dragon Trail. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. That is unbelievable. And there was still more time in there potentially because I thought you could get more in Sector 2 if you use the curbs more. You saw like my fastest lap. I think if you use the curbs more, abuse them more, it doesn't unsettle this car. You know, you're talking absolutely insane lap times. But even so, we did the same test with all the cars. That's it for the Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG GT3. You're not going to believe what is next in this list if we scroll down. It's the Peugeot RCZ, woohoo, which has an unfair disadvantage in all of this because I've driven this the most, so obviously I understand the car already. So essentially this could be overachieving in this list because I drive it the most. We'll see what happens. I don't expect it to come top. I don't actually expect it to make the top 10. I'm thinking it's potentially going to come down way down here somewhere and sort of this sort of area potentially, but we'll see what happens. We are going to do a BoP test every day pretty much now because I'm off. So every day you should see a BoP test along with the live streams that are happening and things like that. So I hope you enjoyed the video. We are going to do the retest as well, but that's going to be with my new wheel. We're doing the final ones of these with my Fanatec, and I'll switch over my wheels, and then we'll do the retest with the new wheel, and that's how the test will be done going forward. As I say, I hope you enjoyed this BoP test. Fascinating that that's top. We'll probably get a massive nerf at some point, but thanks very much for watching. I will, oh, my logo's there if you want to subscribe. The video plays there if you want to watch one of the other BoP tests, because we've done tons, as you can see. But thanks very much for watching. I will see you in the next video.